I would like to thank intervention by civil society organizations, and many of which kindly submitted relevant information to my report. And at that point was raised about data collection and so on. Then I would encourage civil society sectors to continue their efforts to submit information. I will be issuing a number of calls in the future based on my themes that I identified in my General Assembly report, and I certainly look forward to working with you in different in this capacity. And civil society organizations are also important because they also provide direct assistance to the victims and survivors of contemporary forms of slavery. And due to the challenges posed by the pandemic, as I said, many of them have not been able to receive sufficient support. And I would urge member states to continue and intensify this in the future. In concluding, I just wanted to say a few words about certain aspects of my report. And many delegates and civil society organizations have stressed the importance of protecting the marginalized group that I identified in my report, which, such as informal workers, women, children, migrant workers, minorities, indigenous peoples, refugees, internally displaced persons, and so on. And I think these groups of people are more vulnerable to exploitation and abuse because of the wider issues such as poverty, inequality, discrimination that they have been facing, and enforcing, in this regard, enforcing laws to protect their human rights, strengthening institutional mechanisms to protect their rights, and changing the mindset of businesses and employers are extremely important. And also I want to highlight the importance of international cooperation in addressing the multifaceted impacts of COVID-19. Of particular importance is a victim-centered approach whereby the voices of affected workers and survivors of contemporary forms of slavery are sufficiently reflected in protection measures to be implemented at the national level with the assistance of other stakeholders where needed. In this regard, I strongly urge member states to contribute to the UN Voluntary Fund on Contemporary Forms of Slavery, which allows civil society organizations to provide much needed assistance to the victims of slavery, forced labor, and other slave-like practices. Unfortunately, the contributions have been historically low this year, and this should be addressed as soon as possible so that a larger number of survivors can be assisted globally. Mr. Vice President and distinguished delegates, there is no doubt that international solidarity is needed now more than ever, and I would encourage all member states to work collaboratively with survivors, civil society organizations, national human rights institutions, businesses, and other stakeholders, including my mandate, in order to promote more effective responses to contemporary forms of slavery during the COVID-19 crisis. Thank you very much for your attention.